Everyone who's seen this seed is dead, but I swallowed it whole into my stomach. It's been growing inside me for 18 full years, all because my father told me before he died. Once the seed sprouts inside my body, I can be completely reborn. But before the seed sprouts, I can't open my mouth to speak. If I speak, heavenly thunder will come to punish me. Everyone has thought I'm mute for the past 18 years, and tomorrow is the final day. But right on this day, my fiancée Jiang Luoxi grabbed a big knife and pressed it against her own neck. I'd rather die than marry Lin Chen. Her father was extremely frustrated about this. His gaze drifted unconsciously towards me. Such a good-looking young man. What a shame he's mute. He's also a useless loser with no spiritual root, while his daughter is an exceptional genius with a 6th grade spiritual root. She's already been accepted as a direct disciple by an elder of Qingshuan's sect. They are totally from different worlds. Honey, if this really doesn't work, let Ruxu marry him instead of Luoxi. As soon as these words were spoken, all the Zhang family members turned to look at Jiang Ruxu in unison. The girl in green clothes had a graceful figure. She was much prettier than her younger sister Jiang Luoxi. Too bad she was born to a concubine. Her status in the Zhang family is far lower than Jiang Luoxi's. Dad? I still want to stay by your side and serve you. Please don't marry me off. The girl bit her red lip tightly and begged helplessly. Jiang Zhengya gritted his teeth. He bent his knees. Do you want your dad to kneel down and beg you? Dad? Don't do this. I'll marry him, okay? I'll do it. The moment she agreed, her eyes were filled with grievance. Jiang Zhengya stood up straight and smiled with relief. Lin Chen, what do you think? I sat calmly in the corner, sipping tea slowly. The Jiang family never planned to marry Jiang Luoxi to me at all. They had already planned to make Jiang Ruxu the sacrifice long ago. I picked up the pen and paper I carried with me and wrote a note. Uncle, don't make things hard for Ruxu. The Jiang family has taken care of me for 10 years. Let's just call off the engagement today. I had planned to cancel the engagement anyway. Ever since my dad saved the old master of the Jiang family 10 years ago, I have been living in the Jiang residence. My father passed away 3 years ago. Everyone in the Jiang family gradually became distant from me. It's time for me to leave now. After Jiang Zhengya finished reading the note, he was secretly thrilled. He had wanted to kick me out for a long time, but Liu Yingshuang insisted righteously that I should stay. I naturally guessed what she was thinking. She wanted to eliminate threats for her daughter. Marrying me would ruin her whole life's happiness. I didn't say a word, and looked at Jiang Ruxu, who was silently crying. I sighed helplessly. I knew even if I saved her today, her life might only get worse in the future. Jiang Ruxu is the only person who treated me kindly. The year my father died, I was overwhelmed with grief and got seriously ill. All the Jiang family members ignored me. It was Jiang Ruxu who took good care of me. I really couldn't bear to see her suffer, so I had to agree. Only then did Liu Yingshuang smile. She couldn't wait for us to get married. Jiang Ruxu wiped her tears and walked to me with red, swollen eyes. Come with me. I just have something to tell you too. I followed Jiang Ruxu to her bedroom. Her bedroom was very simple and shabby. Jiang Ruxu walked to the dressing table, opened the drawer under the dressing mirror, and took out a small pouch from the corner. It was filled with silver pieces of different sizes. Little mute, you shouldn't have agreed. They don't really want you to marry me. They just don't want to get a reputation for being ungrateful. Once my sister joins Qingshuan sect, they will treat you harshly and find all kinds of ways to kick you out. Take this money and leave the Zhang residence. I don't want you to live the same miserable life as me. I wrote a note and asked, what about you? This is my home. No matter how badly they treat me, I can't leave. As she was talking, her voice started to choke with sobs. Glistening tears were swirling in her eyes. I walked up to her and patted her head. You should call me husband from now on. Jiang Ruxu lifted her head abruptly. Her bright eyes were wide open in shock. You just spoke. You're not mute. Did I ever say I was mute? Why have you been pretending to be mute this whole time? I put my hands behind my back and looked silently out the window. The previously clear sky suddenly let out 2 earth-shattering thunderclaps. Everyone in the Zhang residence rushed outside to look around in fright. Jiang Ruxu also jolted from the sudden sound of thunder. My expression turned grave. I didn't say a word. Me speaking just now leaked my aura. That's what angered the heavenly thunder. Jiang Ruxu noticed a hint of sadness in my expression. All right. I won't ask anymore. Pack your things and go quickly. If Liu Yingshuang finds out you've been faking mutism this whole time, she'll start being paranoid again. I'm not leaving. I'm staying to marry you. I'll protect you from now on. Don't talk big. Your spiritual root isn't even as good as mine. I smiled and said nothing. I just stared at her quietly. I didn't waver in the slightest. Jiang Rukshu looked at my calm, determined gaze. A warm current rose in her heart. She hesitated for a moment. She stuffed the money pouch into my hand again. A faint blush crept onto her cheeks. Take it. Think of it as the betrothal gift for marrying me. An indescribable emotion welled up in my heart. I never thought that one day a girl would give me her entire life savings as betrothal gifts so I could marry her. She reached out to smooth my clothes gently. What are you standing there frozen for? Uncle Lin lived a poor life his whole life. He didn't leave you any gold or silver. I hope these savings can help you. I couldn't hold myself back anymore. I wrapped an arm around her slender waist and pulled her into my embrace. Rukshu's face went bright red from embarrassment. Her body went stiff. She didn't move an inch. She let me hold her like that. It took her a long while to react. She panicked and pushed herself away. I'm going to hang the laundry out. Watching her fleeing back view, I put the money pouch back on the table. Jiang Rukshu, I will marry you in a grand, proper ceremony. At the same time, inside Liu Yingshuang's bedroom, Aunt, how can you marry Cousin Rukshu? To that good-for-nothing Lin Chen. Please take back that order. Marry Cousin Rukshu to me instead. Lu Cheng is Liu Yingshuang's nephew, a genius with a third-grade spiritual root. Liu Yingshuang brought him to the Jiang residence to raise him when he was little. He turned out very talented. He's only 20 and already at the 5th level of qi refining. This made Liu Yingshuang look really good. In front of her maternal family, the only thing that gives Liu Yingshuang a headache is, Lu Shun really likes Jiang Rukshu. Zhenger, I can give in to you on other matters. But don't be ridiculous about this. But seeing the grief and anger on Lu Zheng's face, her heart softened eventually. She said meaningfully, what if Lin Chen dies in an accident? I get it, thank you, Aunt. I'll go right now. To help arrange the wedding. I'll make sure they get married as soon as possible. But right after he stepped outside, the smile on his face slowly faded. A trace of malice appeared instead. Early morning, west courtyard of the Jiang residence. Inside a shabby room, I paced back and forth. I've waited 18 years for this day. I thought I had enough self-control, that I could calmly wait for the seed to sprout. But when the day actually came, I stayed up all night. I was filled with unease. Just then, a ray of blinding light pierced through the clouds and shone into the room. At almost the exact same time, the hard shell of the seed inside my body cracked open. I immediately sat cross-legged, holding my breath and focusing my mind. In my sea of consciousness, I saw a tiny sprout break through the soil. Its appearance seemed to alarm some supreme being, who sent down countless world-destroying thunderbolts, trying to force it back underground. But the sprout slowly unfurled and effortlessly absorbed all the incoming thunderbolts. I watched as that seed absorbed the power of heaven and earth, using the thunderbolts as nutrients, growing into an impossibly tall giant tree that stretched far beyond what the eye could see. The thunderbolts realized they couldn't stop it, and gradually died down. This Taishu ancient tree scattered streaks of green light, which merged into my body, and formed a spiritual root in my dantian. Spiritual root! I have a spiritual root! The complete rebirth I've waited 18 years for is finally here. After a long while, I calmed down and looked closely at this spiritual root. I couldn't help freezing in shock. It's transparent. My spiritual root is actually transparent. It has no color at all. Zhang Luoxi's spiritual root is bright blue, which means it's 6th grade. Legend says the highest grade is white spiritual root, which represents 9th grade. But no one's ever heard of a transparent spirit root. Looks like I have to go to the testing tower to confirm it. Right at this moment, I suddenly noticed that on the lush Taishu divine tree hung huge translucent fruits all over its branches. Inside the lowest hanging fruit, there's actually a cultivation technique sealed inside. Mystic tier high-grade heart technique, the Dragon-Seeking Sutra. I was shocked. The Zhang family is an established force in Luxian City. Their clan-protecting technique is only a yellow-tier mid-grade sword art. I tried to jump up and pluck the fruit, but an invisible force pushed me back to the ground. A stream of information popped up in my mind. The lowest level fruits can only be plucked by those at Foundation Establishment Realm. Then the dark world before my eyes gradually faded away. I was back in that shabby little room. I didn't waste any time. left the Jiang residence, and headed to the testing tower. It was still early. The testing tower hadn't opened yet. Quite a few people were already waiting in front of the tower. Teenagers who came to take the test. Jenner, don't be nervous for the retest today. The tower master said you were too nervous last time, so your test result was lower than your actual level. Luoshu nodded hard. The Jiang family has limited resources. Most of them go to Jiang Luoxi. The rest are allocated based on talent. If his talent is a grade lower than others, the resources he gets will be way less. That's why for this retest, he has to get his real level on record. If you get a grade 3 upper rating, I'll do everything I can to convince the Jiang clan members to make an exception and let you practice the Jiang family sword art. Lu Zheng was over the moon. The Jiang family sword art, a yellow tier mid-grade technique. It's one of the top powerful techniques in Luxian City. Only core members of the Jiang family can access it. He'd been taking orders in the Jiang family for 10 years, and now he finally got a shot at the core resources. While he was still excited, he caught a familiar figure out of the corner of his eye. He couldn't help but feel confused. Lin Chen, what are you doing here? I calmly wrote a note. Same as you. Until my strength reaches a certain level, I plan to keep pretending I'm mute. To avoid making people suspicious, Lu Zheng shook his head, his eyes full of disdain. Before this, I've taken the test so many times, every result said I don't have a spirit root. He patted me on the shoulder. Spirit roots are something you're born with. If you have it, you have it. If you don't, you don't. What's wrong with living a normal life as a mortal? Why chase after something you can never get? Just then the door opened. A lazy-looking old man walked out. Old rule, anyone with excellent aptitude test results will get a cultivation technique as reward. None of the crowd cared at all. Only Jiang Luoxi got that reward in the past few decades. The tower master gave the order. Everyone entered the testing room at the same time. After the stone door closed, I looked at the floating crystal ruler in the middle of the secret room. I took a deep breath, walked up to the crystal ruler, and placed my palm on it. The next second, the crystal ruler started trembling slightly. A ripple slowly rose from the bottom, reached the red mark, and kept going straight up to the orange mark without stopping. My hanging heart relaxed a little. Soon the ripple rushed to the yellow mark, then zoomed up to the green mark at full speed, and then shot straight to the black mark at the very top. My heart was back in my throat again. My mouth went dry unconsciously. Grade 8 already broke Liu Xinqing's highest record. But the test wasn't over yet. The ripple kept rising all the way to the highest white mark. My pupils shrank violently. My eyes were filled with uncontrollable ecstasy. Grade 9 spirit root, the legendary level. But the ripple still hadn't stopped. The end of the crystal pool was a large blank area. There were no marks there at all. But the ripple kept rising. Finally, it burst past the measuring ruler completely and flew out of the secret room. I was completely confused. What kind of spirit root is this anyway? Almost the second the ripple burst out. Lu Zheng in the next room was staring at his own crystal pool. His ripple finally stopped at grade 3, right at the boundary between mid and upper grade spirit roots. His face turned dark with anger. Go up! Rise higher, you damn thing! Lu Zheng punched the crystal pool hard, roaring in rage. He was 100% sure he'd get grade 3 upper for sure, but he missed it by a hair. Right at that moment, the ripple that burst out of my room swept through his room. Its powerful impact moved the ripple in Lu Zheng's crystal pool. It started rising again instantly and stopped at the white mark. The tower master is lying on a rattan chair, holding a pen in one hand and a registration book in the other. Inside Lu Zheng's secret chamber, a streak of white light shoots through the door crack. The tower master rubs his eyes, looking totally confused. Clang. He stands up abruptly. The escaping aura blasts the rattan chair several meters away. His old face is filled with utter shock. 9th grade spiritual root. It's appeared. As soon as he finishes speaking, the white light floods the entire testing tower, turns into a beam of light shooting up to the sky, piercing through the clouds above the 9 heavens. Jiang Luoxi finishes her meditation. Spiritual energy circles around her body. Her eyes are bright and piercing. Jiang Zhengye beside her looks full of pride. Luoxi, you've broken through to the 9th level of qi refining. At your age? That's unprecedented in Guizhou City. After all, she has a 6th grade spiritual root. Cultivating so fast is no surprise at all. When I get to Qingyun sect and get mid-tier or even high-tier Huang-level cultivation techniques, I'll cultivate even faster. Suddenly, she catches a glimpse of the white light beam from the corner of her eye. She can't help being shocked. Dad, what's that? It's coming from the testing tower. Could it be that a peerless spiritual root has appeared? I heard your grandpa say, too, that years ago, in the neighboring Biyun city, there was a peerless genius with an 8th grade spiritual root. When he was testing his spiritual root, a black light beam shot straight into the sky. It's exactly the same as what we're seeing now. Zhang Luoxi stares at the light beam in disbelief. She unconsciously bites her red lip tightly. She's always been so proud, and can't accept that there's actually someone in Guizhou City whose spiritual root is way better than hers. Watching the light gradually fade away, she grits her teeth, drops her sword, and dashes towards the testing tower. I need to see who the hell he is. Zhang Zhengya is worried that she's being too impulsive, but also extremely curious at the same time. He speeds up and chases after her. The entire Guizhou City, because of the appearance of the white light beam, descends into total chaos. Countless warriors rush madly towards the testing tower to witness this once-in-a-century wonder. Among them are even several people who haven't shown up for years. Long-rumored dead clan elders who have left seclusion, all fighting to see the real face of this once-in-a-lifetime genius. The warriors taking the test all rush out of the doors and arrive in front of Lu Zheng's stone door. They are all completely shocked. A miracle! I'm witnessing a miracle. In my entire life, I never thought I'd see the legendary 9th grade spiritual root. Wait, is 9th grade really the strongest? Duh, of course 9th grade is the strongest. But there's a legend about a spiritual root that surpasses 9th grade. It's called the infinite spiritual root. Legend says it has no shape or form. It's completely transparent. Its tens or even hundreds of times stronger than 9th grade, but this kind of spiritual root only exists in myths. It doesn't exist in real life at all. I was in the next secret chamber. Of course I felt the commotion too, no way. Lu Shou has a 9th grade spiritual root. I look surprised. If he has such talent, why did he use the Zhang family's resources for 10 years and still can't compare to Zhang Luoxi's 6th grade root? Just as I'm thinking, my crystal ruler reacts again. A greenish glowing mass flies out of the ruler. It lands right in front of me. As the light fades away, it turns out to be 2 cultivation techniques. One is the Qingfeng True Sutra, a high-tier Huang-level mental cultivation technique. The other is the 7-star sword art, also a high-tier Huang-level cultivation technique. I'm shocked in my heart. But no matter what the reason is, with these 2 techniques and this transparent spiritual root, I'll improve rapidly in the shortest time possible. I tuck the techniques away properly and open the stone door. The loud sound of the door opening draws the attention of countless onlookers. Oh, it's just Lin Chen. You scared me. I thought it was Lu Zheng coming out. Yeah, I thought Lu Zheng was coming out. Lin Chen, I guess you didn't detect any spiritual root again this time, huh? I frowned slightly. But on second thought, why sneak around? Cultivating these 2 high-tier Huang-level techniques in secret and improving my strength silently is the right way to go. I have no one to rely on right now. If people find out what I'm capable of, it'll just easily get me into big trouble. So I just give a calm smile in return. Lin Chen, you're here too. What's going on inside? Zhang Luoxi and Zhang Zhengya rush over. I keep a calm face and write a note. Lu Zhou has tested positive for a 9th grade spiritual root. Impossible, that can't be true. The competitive girl can't take this blow. She burst into tears. I sighed silently and jotted down a comforting line. Focus on your cultivation. Wait for what the future has in store. Zhang Luoxi glanced at it, but thought I was mocking her. You see me crying. And you're pretty happy about it, huh? I was speechless. Why take your anger out on me? Just then, the tower master, who also noticed Zhang Zhengya's arrival, ran over quickly, with an overly friendly smile on his face. Brother Zhang, congratulations. Zhang Zhengya was totally flattered. Then, the city lord, the strongest fighter in Guizhou City, Ye Jifeng also came over with a fist salute. Master Zhang, congratulations. The Zhang family has a real dragon in their ranks. Looking at Ye Jifeng's forced smile, Zhang Zhengya felt even more like he was dreaming. Not that long ago, he brought fancy gifts to visit Ye Jifeng and got the door slammed in his face. Now the guy is actively sucking up to him. A few reclusive old experts also warmly came up to chat. Zhang Zhengya zoned out for ages before he calmed down. He knew this was all because of Lu Zheng. He knew all the credit went to Lu Zheng. Liu Yingshuang walked over looking super proud. Honey, when I went against everyone's advice to bring Zhengger to the Zhang family to raise him. What did you say? Zhang Zhengya looked totally ashamed. He was super against it back then, and only agreed reluctantly because Liu Yingshuang threatened to kill herself. I was blind as a bat back then. Thank goodness for my lucky star of a wife that our Zhang family gets to latch onto. Shenger, the future absolute powerhouse. Liu Yingshuang was glowing with pride. Not long after, while everyone waited excitedly, Lu Zheng finally opened the stone door and walked out looking totally confident. He walked up to Zhang Zhengya and knelt on one knee. Thank you, Aunt and Uncle Zhang, for raising me all these years. I didn't let you down. I tested out to have a 9th grade spirit root. Zhang Zhengya didn't dare act superior and quickly helped him up. Don't do that, Zhenger. You're a 9th grade genius. How can your uncle deserve a bow from you? Lu Sheng had never felt so good in his life. Suddenly, he glanced at me out of the corner of his eye. Everyone else was bowing to the glory of his 9th grade spirit root. Only I had my hands tucked in my sleeves, looking totally chill. Lin Chen, you're not convinced? He asked in a loud, sharp voice. I turned my head to look at him. I jotted down expressionlessly, too bad. A useless loser with no spirit root has no right to act all high and mighty in front of me. He turned around to face Zhang Zhengya and bowed politely. Uncle Zhang, I have a favor to ask. Ruxu and I grew up together. I hope you'll let Ruxu marry me. Zhang Zhengya was stuck in a tough spot. He had already promised Ruxu to me. Would he have to go back on his word? He had already promised Ruxu to me. Would he change his mind and make her marry someone else? Uncle, if I said I wanted to get married, I'm sure tons of families here would jump to marry their daughter to me. Then I'd be some other family's son-in-law. Lu Zheng said casually with his hands behind his back, pretending not to care. Zhang Zhengya's face changed immediately. Just as he was about to make a decision, I lifted my pen and wrote, Uncle Zhang, whether someone can give Ruxu happiness depends on actual strength, not empty talk. I want to compete with Lu Zheng. Zhang Zhengya saw this and immediately felt way better. He quickly looked at Lu Zheng. Zhenger, what do you think? A useless loser wants to challenge a 9th grade spirit root. I'll give you this chance. Even if you lose, you can brag about this for your whole life. Zhang Zhengya was completely relieved now. I'll give you 3 days. Whoever can break through 1 cultivation level gets to marry Zhang Ruxu. Sound fair? I immediately waved my pen and wrote, Deal. Lu Zheng smiled confidently. 1 level. Uncle, you're underestimating my 9th grade spirit root. We'll see who wins in 3 days. Just then, an old man in fancy clothes squeezed out from the crowd of big shots. Young Master Lu, I'm Qin Changsheng. Everyone present was shocked. Qin Changsheng is the head of the top alchemy family in Guizhou City. With his family's inherited paint refining liquid formula, he monopolizes the paint refining liquid business in all surrounding cities. Qin Changsheng smiled while holding a brocade box, with 10 small jade bottles neatly lined up inside. The Qin family congratulates young Master Lu on getting a 9th grade spirit root. These 10 bottles of key refining liquid are for a 9th grade spirit root like you. These 10 bottles of key refining liquid are a gift for you, young Master Lu. Hope you win the beauty's hand in 3 days. My eyes narrowed slightly. The Qin family is obviously taking Lu Zheng's side here. Seemingly noticing my gaze, Qin Changsheng didn't hold back at all. Instead, he didn't even care. Besides, all shops of the Qin family will stop selling weapon refining fluid to Lin Chen starting today. My gaze turned cold. I waved my pen casually. I hope you won't regret this, Qin Changsheng said mockingly. Regret? Regret dumping a loser like you and cozying up to young Master Lu. I gave him a meaningful look, then turned and left quietly. On the way back, a clan elder following Qin Changsheng looked hesitant. Patriarch, why were you being so aggressive just now? To pick on a junior. It all goes back to 10 years ago. A mysterious soul master suddenly appeared. The mid-grade QI refining fluid he made almost destroyed the Qin family's century-old legacy, Qin Changsheng said meaningfully. Then do you remember when Lu Zheng came to Guizhou City? The elder thought for a moment. He gasped in shock. What, 10 years ago? Patriarch, do you mean that? I shut the door as soon as I got home. I clenched my fists hard. Lu Zheng, I refuse to believe I'm worse than you. I opened the Qingfeng scripture and read it carefully. I don't know if it's because the Taishu ancient tree baptized my body before. I could understand everything with 0 difficulty. 1 hour later, I sat cross-legged to cultivate, muttering the mantra under my breath. The transparent spirit root inside me felt like a giant root system taking root in the void. I kept muttering the mantra. The transparent spirit root inside me was taking root, like giant root tendrils in the void, slowly absorbing spiritual ki from the air. Soon, wisps of spiritual ki gathered from all directions and turned into strands of pure spiritual power. I cultivated tirelessly until the sun came up. A beam of dazzling sunlight woke me up. I slowly opened my eyes. I jumped out of bed with anticipation. I activated my dantian, gathered my ki, and threw my fists. A faint popping sound from compressed air reached my ears. Tea refining level 2. In just one night. Tea refining level 2. Zhang Luoxi took 3 whole days to break through to Qi refining level 1, right? But I didn't get complacent. Qi refining level 2 is far from enough. I tried to keep cultivating, but found my Qi absorbing speed slowed down a lot. The higher the level in Qi refining realm, the more you need Qi refining fluid to help. Suddenly I remembered my dad told me before he died to take the box he carried for 10 years and bury it by his grave. Don't dig it out until the spirit bamboo seed sprouts, since Dad left such a magical seed. That mysterious box must hold something extraordinary too. I got up and opened the door, only to hear Zhang Ruxui begging in the next yard. Aunt 6, this is my monthly clan resource allocation. Please don't take it from me. Liu Yingshuang brought 2 personal maids and cornered Zhang Ruxu against the wall. The maids held her hands down. Liu Yingshuang pulled a bottle of Qi refining fluid from her arms. Her face turned cold. Don't think I don't know? You want to give this to that loser Lin Chen. You want him to win? Ha! In your dreams! Liu Yingshuang slammed the Qi refining fluid on the ground. The precious spiritual fluid spilled all over the floor and mixed with the dirt. Zhang Ruxu broke free from the hold. The Qi refining fluid was slammed to the ground hard. The precious spiritual fluid spilled all over the ground and mixed with the mud. Zhang Ruxu broke free from the maids and threw herself on the ground, trying to grab the mud soaked with spiritual fluid to salvage some. The usually gentle girl was so angry that tears filled her eyes. Xiaofan is already so pitiful. Why do you have to bully him like this, even making a fuss over a bottle of Qi refining fluid? Liu Yingshuang clapped her hands dismissively. This Qi refining fluid belongs to the Zhang family. If he's got guts, he can get his own. She swayed her hips and left satisfied. Zhang Ruxu squatted on the ground helplessly, hugging her knees and crying out of guilt. I walked up behind her right then and put a hand on her back. Patting it gently, she turned around in shock and saw it was me and felt even more guilty. She fell into my arms, sobbing uncontrollably. I'm sorry, Xiaofan. I'm so useless. I should have been more careful. I patted her thin back gently. Silly girl. I should be thanking you. How could I blame you? Zhang Ruxu's eyes were red. That was the only refining fluid I could give you. I don't deserve this. To have such a wonderful fiancé. I agree with one thing, Liu Yingshuang said. A man can only win with help from a woman. Go back and rest right now. I'll figure something out. Zhang Ruxu stayed silent for a long while and nodded her head. Just do your best, that's all I ask. No matter what the result is. I won't blame you at all. With that, she left the Zhang mansion, heading for Cloud Mist Mountain, the suburban area rich in spiritual herbs. She couldn't bear to see me all alone and helpless. She still wanted to do her part to help me. At the same time, I also left the Zhang mansion and arrived at the cemetery in the suburbs. Dad, your son is unfilial. I've come to visit you. I knelt in front of the grave, burning lots of joss paper and candles. Memories of the time I spent with my father flooded my mind. My father was a man of few words. He loved drinking alcohol. When he got drunk, he'd curse at the sky, as if he was venting about all the unfairness in the world. When sober, he'd stare at the moon with tears streaming down his face. Dad, I'm getting married soon, but not to Zhang Luoxi. It's Zhang Ruxue, the one you liked more. You once said she was more suitable to be my wife. She's gentle, quiet, and polite by nature. I laughed and laughed until tears rolled down my cheeks. If you were still alive today, you'd definitely be grinning from ear to ear. After we get married, I'll definitely bring her to visit you. But your son has run into a little trouble. I need to open the box you left behind. I'm disturbing your peace. Please forgive me. I kowtowed several times, then lifted a hoe to dig the soil in front of the tombstone. I dug a full 3 feet deep, and finally dug up a black wooden box. I held it in my arms and looked surprised. It had been buried underground for 3 years, yet no snakes, insects, or rodents had gnawed on it. It seems this wooden box isn't an ordinary item at all. With a crisp click, The wooden box was opened. The first things I saw were 2 jade bottles, with bright green spiritual liquid lying quietly inside. Mid-grade chi refining liquid. I was over the moon with joy. I knew my dad would definitely leave cultivation resources for me. I quickly picked up the chi refining liquid and found a letter and a bamboo slip underneath. I opened the letter with trembling hands. Xiaofan, when you read this letter, your dad has already been dead for 3 years, right? Has your seed sprouted yet? Are you doing well? What do you look like now? Your dad really wants to know. Sadly, I can't see any of it anymore. These 2 bottles of mid-grade chi refining liquid are left for you to break through your current realm. But the most important thing is the bamboo slip underneath. Your dad has average talent. I spent my whole life studying it and only grasped a tiny bit. I only understood the very basics of it. I barely became a 2-star soul master. I hope my son can surpass me and become a great upright soul master. That way you'll have the ability to protect yourself. Lastly, this wooden box was left to you by your mother. She once said that after you become a 5-star soul master, you can open the hidden compartment in the wooden box. I couldn't open that hidden compartment. That's your dad's last regret. If one day you manage to open it, remember to burn joss paper and tell me what's inside. Keep going, my son. Your life will have lots of twists and turns. Don't ever give up, okay? Teardrops fell on the letter one by one. It felt like I could see my dad in front of me, saying his final goodbye. Dad, your son will definitely try his best to live well. I definitely will, I promise. After a long time, I wiped away my tears and put the letter away carefully. It turns out my dad used to be a 2-star soul master. Soul masters are the most respected profession in this world, bar none. They have soul power far beyond ordinary people and can cast all kinds of mysterious soul abilities. They can also make spirit pills used by martial artists. The reason the Qin family of Guizhou City could become the top alchemy family is that every generation of family head inherits a family heirloom that can temporarily boost soul power. The boosted power level is roughly that of a soul master apprentice. Even so, it let the Qin family dominate the entire Guizhou City. I opened the bamboo slip. It was covered with strange, twisted characters. I started feeling dizzy the longer I stared at them. Upper volume of the Tai Soul Art, written by 8-star Soul Master. Great Master Xiaoyao, only those with strong souls can recognize these characters. If fools read this text, at best they will suffer a severe headache. At worst, their soul will be destroyed. Practice with caution. I can make out the word destroyed. Practice with caution. I can recognize these characters. That means your soul is way stronger than ordinary people's, and you qualify to become a soul master. I sat cross-legged in front of the grave, quietly digesting everything I had just seen. Only half a day later, I opened my eyes. Dad, I think I learned some ways to use my soul powers. I drank a bottle of mid-grade chi refining liquid and tucked the other one inside my robe. Soon after, my body jolted suddenly as I broke through to the 3rd level of chi refining. I filled up the hole in front of the grave and kowtowed to my father's tombstone, then got up and headed back to the city. But I didn't return to the Jiang family. I went to a poorly run treasure pavilion instead. Treasure Pavilion belongs to Lone Boat City's 2nd top pill-making clan, the Chen family. The Chen family doesn't have a family heirloom like the Qin families. They can only make low-quality medicine, so their business is way worse than the Qin families. I changed into a thick black robe, put on a mask, and walked into the shop. I pulled the mid-grade weapon refining liquid from my robe and put it on the counter. I wanted to trade it for something. The shopkeeper glanced at it. He was slightly stunned at first, then jumped right out of his chair, rushed over and exclaimed, "Is this mid-grade 7-leaf refining elixir? It's been 10 years. I finally see one again. Quick, serve this sir some tea. The best tea you have?" I waved my hand expressionlessly. "No need for tea. I want to trade for these materials. How many sets can you give me?" I picked up the pen on the counter and wrote down the ingredients for weapon refining liquid. The shopkeeper got even more excited. He unconsciously bowed his previously straight body. "Are you a soul master, sir?" I gave him a cold glance. The shopkeeper jumped in fright. He immediately slapped himself on the mouth. I spoke out of turn. "Please forgive me, sir." Cut the crap. "How many can I get?" "Please forgive me, Master Zhang." Cut the crap. "How many can I get?" The shopkeeper said hurriedly. "According to the market price, 1 bottle of mid-grade qi refining liquid is 10,000 taels of silver. 1 set of weapon refining liquid ingredients is 1,000 taels, so you can get 10 sets. But if you still have more weapon refining liquid to sell us, I can make the call to give you 11 sets. I thought for a second. I nodded and said, okay. The shopkeeper was over the moon. He fetched 11 sets of ingredients, rubbed his hands and said, to be honest with you, sir, tomorrow is Lone Boat City's pill-making clan exhibition. If you have extra weapon refining liquid, could you sell it to us at the exhibition? So the Chen family can earn some respect. I nodded slightly and said I would try. Then left the treasure pavilion. I made sure no one was following me. Then found an alley. Took off my disguise and walked back onto the public street. I had only walked a few steps when I heard a cold sneer. Well, who do we have here? Lu Zheng was riding a horse with a big grin on his face, followed by Qin Changsheng. He saw me and reined in his horse. Lu Zheng glanced at the nearby treasure pavilion and sneered. Master Qin, some people are just living in a fantasy world, trying to buy low-grade QE refining liquid. Qin Changsheng said coldly. In the whole Lone Boat City, except for our Qin family, no one else sells qi refining liquid. You came to Treasure Pavilion to beg for qi refining liquid. You came to the wrong place. Lu Zheng joked mockingly. Begging for qi refining liquid from us is worse than begging me to go easy on his fiancée, ha ha ha. He whipped his horse and left laughing loudly. Qin Changsheng said contemptuously. Don't even think about getting qi refining liquid. As long as I, Qin Changsheng, am around, you will never get a single drop in your entire life. I shrugged my shoulders. Low-grade weapon refining liquid. Even dogs wouldn't want that. Not long after. A single drop. I shrugged my shoulders. Low-grade weapon refining liquid isn't even fit for dogs. Soon, an important guest arrived at Treasure Pavilion. The Chen family's eldest daughter, Chen Silin, had delicate features, was tall and slim, and had wise eyes. She runs the family business on behalf of her father. After hearing the shopkeeper's report, she said, You handled this perfectly. You gave that soul master a good deal, to get closer to him, and didn't disrespect him either. Now, whether we can build a connection with this soul master depends on what kind of mood he's in. If he can supply us at the exhibition with mid-grade weapon refining liquid, we can compete with the Qin family. Cut back to me, I just got back to the manor. I heard the entire mansion was in a huge mess. Find her, hurry up and find her! Dig up the whole ground if you have to. Find Jiang Ruxu. What? Ruxu is missing. My heart skipped a beat. I remembered the scene of her leaving suddenly this morning. A terrible thought popped into my head. Don't tell me this silly girl ran off to look for natural treasures. It's almost dark and she still hasn't come back. What if she ran into danger? I hurried out of the city and headed straight for Cloud Mist Mountain. Hey, pretty Jiang. Stop struggling. It'd be such a waste if you fall and turn into mush. At the edge of a cliff, 3 burly men with bats embroidered on their chests grinned evilly and stared down the cliff at Jiang Ruxue, who was clinging tightly to a vine. Her palms were scraped raw and bleeding badly. She was completely exhausted. Her face was deathly pale. Her whole body was trembling uncontrollably. Beneath her feet was a bottomless abyss, shrouded in rolling clouds. Come on up already. We're only catching you to demand. Gambling debts from Lu Jiang, that's all. But their greedy gazes never left Jiang Ruxu for a second. Everyone knows what would happen if she got caught. Jiang Ruxu gritted her teeth. Over my dead body. The leader of the men lost his patience. Pull her up. The 2 burly men forcefully pulled the vine upwards. Jiang Ruxu watched as he lost his patience. Pull her up. The 2 burly men forcefully pulled the vine upwards. Jiang Ruxu watched herself being pulled up slowly. Her heart filled with sorrow. She bit her red lip. She said miserably, Xiaofan, I'm sorry. I can't marry you in this life. She loosened her grip on the vine and was about to jump into the abyss. Just at that moment, a series of hurried footsteps sounded. Right after that, one of the men pulling the vine was kicked off the cliff by someone. He screamed as he fell into the clouds. The other 2 men flew into a rage and started fighting with the newcomer. Soon another one screamed and fell to the ground. The last remaining man was terrified out of his wits. He ran away while yelling, How dare you kill someone from Blood-Floating Palace? You're dead meat. Jiang Ruxu was shocked in her heart. Those 3 men from Blood-Floating Palace just now, one was at the 3rd level of qi refining, and the other 2 were at the 2nd level of qi refining. A head popped out from above. He froze immediately when he saw her. Xiaofan! I pulled her up with a grim look on my face. I tapped her lightly and yelled, Who told you to come here? Jiang Ruxu lowered her head guiltily. and quietly lifted her blood-stained palm. There was a vibrant spiritual herb in her palm. She said weakly, "I just wanted to help you." Looking at her scraped palm that still refused to let go of the herb, I felt a sharp pain in my heart. I pulled her into my arms at once. "You're the most important person in my life. I don't want anything to happen to you, got it?" Leaning against my chest, she felt a sense of safety she'd never felt before. With her body and mind completely relaxed, she fell asleep right away, completely exhausted. I didn't have the heart to wake her up. I searched the bodies of the blood-floating palace members and found a token. The City Lord's mansion once issued a bounty. For every blood-floating palace member killed, you can enter the City Lord's mansion's spirit pool to cultivate once. Many people have made breakthroughs while cultivating there. I put the token away properly. It was already pitch black all around, and I couldn't see the path down the mountain clearly, so I found a safe cave to spend the night in with Rukshu.